over 60. 4 worst breads you should never touch, and 4 you must eat. Imagine walking into the grocery store and heading to the bread aisle. You're surrounded by shelves stacked with shiny loaves promising whole grain, healthy, gluten-free, or low-fat. The choices seem endless, but here's the shocking truth. The bread you pick up today could literally determine how well you age, how sharp your memory stays, and even how long you live. This isn't hype. In 2023, scientists at Harvard Medical School published one of the most extensive nutrition studies ever conducted, tracking more than 90,000 adults over the age of 60. They discovered that seniors who chose the right kinds of bread had dramatically better heart health, fewer cases of diabetes, and lived an average of 7 years longer than those who consistently ate the wrong kinds. The reason? After 60, your body doesn't handle bread the way it once did. Digestive enzymes decline, metabolism slows, and blood sugar becomes harder to control. A slice of bread that felt harmless in your 40s can now silently drive up inflammation, damage your arteries, and accelerate aging on a cellular level. In this video, we'll reveal the 4 breads that can help protect your heart, brain, and energy as you age, and the 4 breads you should avoid at all costs. And trust me, the number 1 bread on the avoid list will surprise you. It's one most people mistakenly believe is healthy. The 4 best breads after 60. Number 4. Sprouted grain bread. Sprouted grain bread may look dense and rustic compared to fluffy white loaves, but don't let appearances fool you. This is one of the most powerful breads you can eat as you age. Here's why. Before baking, the grains are soaked until they begin to sprout. This ancient technique activates natural enzymes that break down starches and proteins, turning them into more digestible forms. That's critical, because your digestive efficiency can decline by nearly 40% after 60. When grains sprout, something remarkable happens at the molecular level. The seed essentially wakes up and begins to grow, which triggers the production of enzymes that break down complex compounds. These enzymes do some of the digestive work for you before the bread even reaches your mouth. For seniors dealing with slower digestion, weaker stomach acid, or reduced enzyme production, this pre-digestion makes a huge difference. A study out of the University of Minnesota in 2022 found that older adults who switched to sprouted bread reported significantly less bloating, gas, and constipation within 6 weeks compared to those eating regular whole wheat bread. Blood work showed better absorption of key minerals like magnesium and iron, nutrients that are notoriously difficult for seniors to absorb. Why does mineral absorption matter so much? Magnesium supports over 300 processes in your body, including muscle function, heart rhythm, and bone strength. Iron carries oxygen to your cells and prevents fatigue. But as you age, your stomach produces less acid, which makes it harder to extract these minerals from food. Sprouted grains solve this problem by making minerals more available. Sprouting also slashes the glycemic impact. Even though the carbohydrate count looks the same on the label, sprouted bread raises blood sugar far less than standard whole wheat. For anyone managing prediabetes or type 2 diabetes, this is a huge advantage. The sprouting process converts some of the starch into simpler sugars before baking, which paradoxically makes the final product gentler on your blood sugar. Nutritionally, it's loaded. Higher B vitamins, more vitamin C, and powerful plant compounds that act like natural anti-inflammatories. B vitamins are especially important after 60 because they support brain health, energy production, and nerve function. Many seniors are deficient in B12 and folate without even knowing it, and sprouted grains help fill that gap. Number 3. Real sourdough bread. Not all sourdough is created equal. Real sourdough, made with a natural starter and long fermentation, is one of the best breads for people over 60. Let's talk about what makes sourdough special. Traditional sourdough doesn't use commercial yeast. Instead, bakers rely on a starter, a living culture of wild yeast and beneficial bacteria that ferments the dough over 12 to 48 hours. This slow process completely transforms the bread. During fermentation, bacteria and wild yeast partially digest the gluten and starches, making sourdough much easier to tolerate. This is especially important since gluten sensitivity often increases with age. Even people who struggle with regular bread often find they can enjoy real sourdough without discomfort. Another benefit: sourdough naturally acts like a prebiotic, feeding the healthy gut bacteria that support your immune system, mood, and even cognitive function. Your gut contains trillions of bacteria, and the balance between good and bad species determines much about your overall health. Good bacteria produce vitamins, fight inflammation, and even communicate with your brain through the gut-brain axis. As you age, maintaining a strong gut microbiome becomes essential for overall resilience. Studies show that seniors with diverse, healthy gut bacteria recover faster from illness, have stronger immune responses to vaccines, and experience less depression and anxiety. But beware of imitations. Many supermarket sourdoughs are just regular bread flavored with vinegar or citric acid to mimic that tangy taste. These fake versions offer none of the benefits. Look for loaves with only flour, water, salt, and starter listed in the ingredients. The crust should be dark and crisp, the inside chewy with irregular air pockets. Real sourdough takes time and skill to make, so it usually costs a bit more, but it's worth every penny. You can also find real sourdough at farmers markets or local bakeries, where bakers often use traditional methods. Ask questions. A good baker will be proud to explain their process. Pair it with avocado and eggs for breakfast, or use it for hearty sandwiches loaded with vegetables and lean protein. Just a slice or two a day is enough to gain benefits. You don't need to eat half a loaf. Moderation is key, especially since bread is calorie-dense. Number 2. Rye bread. Rye may not be as popular in the US, but it's a staple in Europe, and for good reason. Rye is packed with soluble fiber, especially a type called arabinoxalan, which has been shown to reduce cholesterol and improve metabolic health. Let's break down why rye is so special. Unlike wheat, which is primarily made of simple starches, rye contains a much higher proportion of fiber that doesn't break down easily in your digestive system. This fiber acts like a sponge, soaking up cholesterol and carrying it out of your body before it can clog your arteries. Rye also contains unique compounds called lignans, which have been linked to lower rates of heart disease and certain cancers. These plant chemicals act as antioxidants, protecting your cells from damage and reducing inflammation throughout your body. Real rye bread is darker, denser, and slightly tangy. The texture is hearty and filling. One slice often satisfies you as much as 2 slices of regular bread. Avoid the pale rye loaves that are mostly wheat flour with caramel coloring added to make them look dark. True rye should list whole rye flour or whole grain rye as the first ingredient. In Scandinavian countries, where rye bread is a daily staple, people have some of the lowest rates of heart disease in the world. While diet is just one factor, the consistent consumption of whole grain rye certainly plays a role. It pairs beautifully with smoked salmon, lean meats, or strong cheeses like aged cheddar or blue cheese. If constipation is an issue, eating rye bread with plenty of water can make a significant difference within days. Number 1. 100% whole grain seeded bread. If you remember only one thing from this video, make it this: switch to 100% whole grain seeded bread. Why? Because this bread combines the fiber and nutrients of whole grains with the powerhouse benefits of seeds like flax, chia, sunflower, and pumpkin. Together, they create a nutrient synergy that supports nearly every system in your body. Let's talk about what makes this combination so powerful. Whole grains contain the entire grain kernel, the bran, germ, and endosperm. The bran provides fiber for digestion, the germ contains healthy fats and vitamins, and the endosperm provides energy. Now add seeds to that equation. Flax seeds are loaded with omega-3 fatty acids that reduce inflammation and support brain health. Chia seeds provide similar benefits plus calcium for your bones. Sunflower seeds offer vitamin E, a powerful antioxidant that protects your skin and eyes. Pumpkin seeds contain zinc for immune function and magnesium for heart health. When shopping, check the label carefully. It must say 100% whole grain or 100% whole wheat. Don't be fooled by multigrain or wheat bread. Those are marketing tricks. Multigrain just means multiple grains, which could all be refined. Wheat bread is usually just white bread with a touch of whole wheat flour and caramel coloring to make it look brown. Look at the ingredient list. The first ingredient should be whole wheat flour or whole grain flour, not just wheat flour or enriched flour. And the seed content should be substantial. You should see seeds listed among the first few ingredients and be able to see them throughout the loaf. Toast it, make sandwiches, or enjoy it plain with a bit of butter or olive oil. Some brands even taste slightly nutty or sweet from the seeds, making them delicious on their own. If you make only one change to your bread habits in your 60s, this should be it. We've seen the breads that can help you age gracefully. Now let's flip the script, because some breads can quietly sabotage your health. In fact, the number one worst bread is something many people believe is good for them. The 4 worst breads after 60. Number 4, white bread. It's nostalgic, it's soft, and it's everywhere. But white bread is essentially sugar in disguise. Made from refined flour stripped of fiber and nutrients, it digests almost instantly, flooding your bloodstream with glucose. Here's what happens when you eat white bread. Within minutes, enzymes in your mouth and stomach break down the simple starches into glucose. Because there's no fiber to slow digestion, that glucose rushes into your bloodstream all at once. Your blood sugar spikes dramatically, triggering your pancreas to release a surge of insulin. This rapid insulin response pushes the glucose into your cells quickly, but often too quickly. Within an hour or two, your blood sugar crashes below where it started, leaving you tired, hungry, and craving more carbs. It's a vicious cycle that leads to overeating and weight gain. A 2022 report in Diabetes Care showed that seniors eating white bread daily had a 46% higher risk of developing type 2 diabetes and a 33% greater risk of cognitive decline within 5 years. The connection between blood sugar and brain health is clear. Unstable glucose levels damage blood vessels in the brain and promote the buildup of plaques associated with dementia. The lack of fiber also harms your gut microbiome, weakening your immune defenses. Fiber feeds the good bacteria in your intestines. Without it, harmful bacteria can take over, leading to inflammation that affects your entire body. Some researchers now believe that an unhealthy gut microbiome contributes to depression, anxiety, and even Parkinson's disease. And because white bread contributes to belly fat, it increases the risk of heart disease and stroke. Belly fat isn't just about appearance, it's metabolically active tissue that releases inflammatory chemicals into your bloodstream. These chemicals increase your risk of heart attacks, strokes, and even certain cancers. If you love it, save it for rare occasions. But it should never be a daily staple after 60. Think of white bread as a treat, not a food. One slice at a holiday meal won't hurt you, but eating it every day absolutely will. Number 3, sweetbreads and pastries. Cinnamon rolls, coffee cake, brioche, donuts, delicious but dangerous. These breads are loaded with refined flour, sugar, and industrial oils. Let's look at what's really in these products. A typical cinnamon roll contains refined white flour, several tablespoons of sugar, butter, or margarine, and often frosting on top. That's a triple threat: refined carbs that spike blood sugar, sugar that feeds inflammation, and processed fats that clog arteries. Excess sugar accelerates aging by creating compounds called AGEs, advanced glycation end products. These molecules form when sugar in your bloodstream attaches to proteins, creating sticky, damaged proteins that your body can't use properly. AGEs damage collagen, the protein that keeps your skin firm and your joints flexible. They stiffen arteries, making them more prone to blockages. They worsen arthritis by damaging cartilage. and they contribute to kidney disease, eye problems, and nerve damage. If you crave something sweet, bake your own using whole grains and natural sweeteners like applesauce, mashed banana, or honey. Homemade treats let you control the ingredients and reduce the sugar without sacrificing flavor. A banana bread made with whole wheat flour, ripe bananas, and a touch of honey can satisfy your sweet tooth while actually providing nutrients. But avoid store-bought pastries. They're a recipe for inflammation. Even the healthy versions at upscale grocery stores often contain shocking amounts of sugar and refined flour. Number 2. Potato bread. Potato bread seems harmless, but it's one of the sneakiest loaves on the shelf. Most commercial versions are made with refined flour, potato starch, sugar, and oils. Why is this a problem? Potatoes themselves aren't bad. They contain potassium, vitamin C, and fiber when you eat the skin. But potato starch is different. It's a highly refined product made by extracting just the starch from potatoes, leaving behind all the nutrients. This pure starch behaves almost identically to sugar in your body. When you combine potato starch with refined white flour, you get a bread that digests incredibly fast and spikes blood sugar dramatically. Many potato breads also contain added sugar to enhance flavor and help the bread brown during baking. Potato bread digests rapidly, spikes blood sugar, and provides almost no nutritional benefit. It lacks the fiber that would slow digestion, the vitamins that would support your health, and the protein that would keep you satisfied. It's basically empty calories that contribute to weight gain without nourishing your body. And because it often contains added sugar, it can worsen cravings and energy crashes. Many people report feeling hungry shortly after eating potato bread, even if they had a substantial meal. That's because the rapid blood sugar spike and crash triggers hunger hormones and cravings for more carbs. If you must have it, make a homemade version using real mashed potatoes and whole wheat flour. You can create a bread with a tender texture and subtle potato flavor while still providing fiber and nutrients. But commercial potato bread from the grocery store? Steer clear. Number 1. Gluten-free white bread made from starches. This one shocks a lot of people. Gluten-free sounds healthy, but in most cases it's not, especially for seniors. The gluten-free trend has exploded in recent years, with many people choosing gluten-free products believing they're healthier. But unless you have celiac disease or a diagnosed gluten sensitivity, gluten-free bread is often worse for your health than regular bread. Most gluten-free white breads are made from starch flours like rice flour, tapioca starch, or potato starch. These ingredients raise blood sugar even faster than wheat flour. Why? Because they're pure starch with no fiber, no protein, and very few nutrients. They're essentially powdered carbohydrates that your body converts to glucose almost instantly. To make matters worse, gluten-free breads often contain extra sugar, oils, and additives to improve texture and taste. Gluten provides structure in regular bread, making it chewy and elastic. Without gluten, bakers have to use gums, extra fat, and often sugar to create a similar texture. A 2022 study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that seniors who ate gluten-free white bread daily had a 54% higher spike in blood sugar and a 21% rise in LDL cholesterol compared to those eating whole wheat. The blood sugar impact was so severe that researchers compared it to eating pure glucose tablets. The cholesterol increase likely comes from the added oils and fats used to compensate for the lack of gluten. Many gluten-free products also lack the fiber that helps remove cholesterol from your body. Unless you have celiac disease or a true gluten sensitivity, avoid these loaves. Celiac disease is a serious autoimmune condition affecting about 1% of the population. If you have it, even tiny amounts of gluten can damage your intestines. But most people jumping on the gluten-free bandwagon don't have celiac disease. They've just been influenced by marketing. And if you do need gluten-free bread, look for versions made from quinoa, buckwheat, or millet, whole grains with real nutritional value. These alternatives provide fiber, protein, vitamins, and minerals while still being completely gluten-free. Some brands now make excellent gluten-free breads using whole grain flours, seeds, and minimal additives. Read labels carefully. A good gluten-free bread should have whole grain flours as the first ingredients, not starches. It should contain seeds or other nutrient-dense additions. And it should have a reasonable ingredient list. If you see 20 ingredients including things you can't pronounce, put it back. Changing your bread habits might seem small, but it can have profound effects on your health. Bread is one of the most common foods in the world, and for many people, it's a daily staple. If you eat bread every day, choosing the right kind means you're making dozens of good decisions every month, hundreds every year. The difference between the right and wrong loaf can literally shape how you age. Choose wisely, and you'll be protecting your heart, your brain, and your energy for years to come. Your arteries will stay clearer, your blood sugar will stay stable, your gut will function better, and your risk of chronic disease will drop significantly. Start by replacing one loaf at a time. If you currently eat white bread, switch to 100% whole grain seeded bread for a week and notice how you feel. Many people report better energy, less bloating, and more stable appetite within just days. If you're eating potato bread or fake sourdough, try real sourdough or rye bread instead.